It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspective of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA AM 1490, FM 101.3, Jaws Country FM 100.9, and ESPN Radio AM 630 and FM 92.9. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Energy Insights on a Saturday morning. Jerry James is our guest again. He's the president of Artex Oil Company, and a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate you taking the opportunity. We're a different kind of busy now, aren't we? All of a sudden, I think about what I would be doing on a given day, and the only difference is I'm just as busy, if not more. I'm just not making any money.
Johnny, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I tell my wife every time I go home, I'm not sure what day it is, and it's like you're learning a whole new world every day.
Give me a comparison, if you will, having been in the business for so long, and maybe it's not even the gravitas of the situation isn't there yet, but maybe to another oil boom, oil bust, or whatever the references you use to that.
Johnny, I've been doing this almost like 45 years, and this has to be the worst bust I've ever seen. I started this business in the mid-1970s. Oil was in the low teens. It got up in the low 80s, up to $30 to $8 a barrel, and then by the mid-80s we have one bust, and it gets down into the low teens again, and then it kind of gradually builds up, and then we have the bust in 2008, and it got down to $20 or $30 a barrel. And this week, Johnny, it's hard to believe I've never seen this in 45 years. Oil got down into $2 to $3 a barrel range. Just stunning, absolutely stunning.
Jerry James is our guest again with Artex Oil Company, and our program is Energy Insights every Saturday morning, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. And we did a little bit of expansion into the downturn. We changed the format, as you know. I put classic country on ESPN 100.9, and so we got those folks tuned in on the program as well. And you had mentioned off air, and we'll put it on air now at one point, that we wouldn't see Toby Keith in the music industry if it wasn't for a situation like this.
It is. I'm a big believer it's an ill wind that doesn't blow someone some good. So I mentioned earlier about the downturn in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Toby Keith was a big derrick hand, which is the guy who goes up the top of the derrick and stacks the pipe back and stuff like that. And if you've ever looked at him, particularly when he's a young guy, he's a big barrel-chested guy, and that's how they all look. So Toby was working as a derrick hand in Oklahoma during the 1980s, and he and his friends had a little band that they put together and played a chicken wire circuit there around Oklahoma and stuff like that, and made a little money on the side. But he really made his money as a derrick hand working in drilling rig. And then when the downturn came, he lost his job during the 1980s downturn. And what's interesting about that is that Toby Keith then said, because he and his buddies had a band, they had to go out literally across to Oklahoma and West Texas and into New Mexico playing the chicken wire circuit. And the chicken wire, literally, he said, it's where people had chicken wire in front of the stage.
Just like the old Blues Brothers, when those guys...
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how he made a living, and it was from those connections of playing those little tiny towns in West Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma that he met a young girl that ended up being just a chance encounter, created Toby Keith.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's a cool story. Talk about, as we move ahead going forward, obviously in our area, we've seen the up and down like crazy here over the last couple of years, and we want to keep these people around. And can you? I'm not asking you to give me the Nostradamus here, but what do you envision? What has to happen?
Well, it's going to be difficult. I mean, this downturn, there's just no sugarcoating it. We're going to see bankruptcies of some oil and gas producers, and we've already seen some out west. This is extremely difficult. What we really need to do, though, the solution here really is, and it's be great for America, great for the energy producers, and really great for our community, is we've got to build demand. And I know you volunteered Shale Crescent USA. You and I have worked together on this in the past. I was just quoting you this week to somebody. And Johnny made one of the best observations I've ever seen when we first started Shale Crescent USA. Johnny said, in order to manufacture, you got to have natural resources, but you can't manufacture natural resources. And what he means by that is we have an abundance of natural resources and natural gas. That's the primary fuel for manufacturing. I think if we've learned anything this downturn is we need to bring our manufacturing back to the United States, and specifically we need to bring it back to the Ohio Valley where we have all these natural resources.
And the program's called Energy Insights, and we very much appreciate you offering ours. Everything good out as well as could be expected with you and the family?
We're doing okay. We've been very fortunate and stuff like that. So that part's going okay, which is always good. You know, It's a good deal when everybody just lives through it.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time again. As always, a pleasure to talk to you. Jerry James is the president of Artex Oil Company, and again, Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association brings us Energy Insights every Saturday morning. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on WMOA Local Radio, Jaws Country, and ESPN Radio, as Johnny Wharf brings you your local and inside perspectives going on in the oil and gas industry right here in the Mid-Ohio Valley.